All right, welcome back. 3x to the Lex, right back at you with one more video. Let's get into it. All right, I'm here today with the first part one of my review of the 43-inch Retro Plus arcade machine from the Arcade Guys. Now today I'm going to talk about the features of the machine and the systems and games that are provided in the machine. So without further ado, let's get into it. You're going to have a button right below the control panel that you're going to want to press, and that button is going to turn on the machine. So once you do that, then the machine will be on and you'll be ready to go. You cut on the TV here, and then you cut on the stereo, which is also below. Then you get this intro screen like this. So you get a different intro screen every time you power this up. I've seen probably about 10 different ones so far. So there's a pretty big variety, I would say, of intro screens. Now, also, this machine has a multi-LED lit back LCD. So that's remote control, as you can see here. So when you press that, it lights up, and you can also change the color of the LED marquee by selecting a color on the remote. So there's a lot of different colors, as you can see on the remote, and you can change the color of it at will. Any color you're looking for, you can change to. So it's pretty slick. I like that, and it's remote control, so you can have it on or off, and it's not always on, so that's a cool feature. Now, to the games. Primarily what you get here is you got several systems, including the arcade classics. Like, you got Amiga, over 900 games. Arcade Classic has nearly 1,900 games. Between Atari systems, 2600, 5200, and 7800, you're looking at probably about 750 games. The Lynx has over 250 games. The Commodore 64, over 3,000 games. ColecoVision has 140 games. Daphne emulator only has 2, unfortunately, at the current time. Dreamcast, about 17 working games right now. They are sending out a new update, which I have a review for at the end of this week, so keep a close eye out for that. Game Gear, over 300 games. Game Boy, over 550 games. Game Boy Advance, over 1,000 games. Game Boy Color, over 530 games. Sega Master System, 270 games. Genesis, over 1,300. Nintendo 64, over 366. Neo Geo, about 141 games. Nearly all of the Neo Geo titles and all of the Neo Geo games work great. Nintendo Entertainment System, over 3,000 games. The Family Computer, over 380 games. And the Neo Geo and Neo Geo Pocket, about 45 games. Combined. PC Engine, about 285 games. PlayStation, about 40 games. Sega CD and 32X, about 100 games combined. And the Super Nintendo, you got over 1,500 games. Super Famicom has about 566 games, and the TurboGrafx is about 94 games. Now, the light gun games are sectioned off in the light gun category in addition to the other platforms. You got about 49 light gun games and about 58 trackball compatible games like Golden Tee, etc. So you have a large variety of games. All together, there's over 18,000 games. There's a really big variety throughout all of the systems. My thoughts on each of these platforms is that most of the arcade classics, almost all of those run pretty good. There are a few that won't start. I ran into some issues with Sunset Riders not starting all the time. They're supposed to be correcting that in the update coming out. Also, you have issues with the Nintendo 64. A lot of the 3D games on here don't run full speed and they have issues. So N64 is a big, real big offender of that. So Super Smash Brothers, F-Zero X, a lot of those games don't run smooth and it's kind of a disappointment. Killer Instinct Go. All of the systems below that, PlayStation and back, all of those games run pretty well. On the Genesis, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, all of those games run really well, and the arcade classics run really well too. But the Nintendo 64 and even a few of the Dreamcast games, the newer 3D systems have issues. So they're constantly working on updates, but you know, the Pi 4 also has its limitations. So the good thing is, as the newer Pis come out, they'll be able to be updated, and we'll be able to slap in a Pi 5 and update it and have more power and more games. So they're constantly working and tweaking things also. From there, you can just jump in and you get like a preview of the game to the right, and starting games are pretty quick too. So if you want to jump in and start a game like 1944, you can just press the button and it lets you right in. You get a small loading screen, and before you know it, you're in the game. It lets you know what controllers and if you got the light guns connected or not. And you get a border. Each game generally has its own border. For some reason, 1944 is missing its game-specific border. But as you can see, it works really well. And a couple buttons here, start, select, it backs you out of the game. Now, the television is very good. It's a TCL brand television. It has a video game mode, so it doesn't have any lag. A lot of color options, and it works really well. The picture quality is really good with this TV. You got a Boss sound system connected to an amp wired directly to the Pi, and it sounds really good. Nice bass. It's very good for video games. All in all, it's a fantastic system. So stay tuned for part 2, where I'm going to dig a little bit more into each of the games on the platforms and go a little bit more in depth about any other issues that have arisen. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with part 2. Thanks. Peace.